The portrait of Edmund Bellamy was created by feeding an algorithm 15,000 paintings from the 14th century all the way to the 20th. How much would you pay for this?
Wait, that was sold?
I wouldn't pay for that.
This image was sold for $432,500. Well, what makes art valuable in the first place?
In my opinion, has to do with the artist behind it.
I think the story behind the piece is...
You don't just buy art, you buy a story, be it willingly or not. This is what makes art valuable, other than the time it takes to create an image and even learn the skill. Behind every artist is a story. Behind every stroke on the canvas, be it digital or physical, is meaning, and every single one is different. But honestly, this image's value kinda starts to make sense. Its story is less in the struggle of an artist, but more the struggle of the programmers of this algorithm. The value is in the technological leap this image represents. But even in 2018, the developers of this project knew the truth. Quote, "We found that portraits provided the best way to illustrate our point, which is that algorithms are able to emulate creativity." What is the problem with AI art though? Let's first tackle the question, is AI bad? Are there any good uses of it?
I think there's articles of AI being used to locate cancer cells.
But beyond that, our navigation, such as Google Maps, uses AI to check traffic patterns and optimize routes. Personalized recommendations, cybersecurity, and so many other things use AI. Then what is the problem with generative AI? Are there any good uses of generative AI?
So, in a perfect world where people will not misuse generative AI by selling it as, oh, I made a drawing, I think it could be helpful for clients to communicate their ideas to the artists they want to commission.
Depends on how you look at it. For art, pictures, or whatever, no. Like, that is just a waste of space, it's a waste of valuable resources, and I don't think there's any good uses for those kind of things, because people can look around the internet and take that extra little bit of research to take in those inspirations.
No, I don't think I can see like a positive end for generative AI.
Personally, the only good use of generative AI that I can think of that is borderline acceptable is when you use it as an actual tool. For example, removing backgrounds in Photoshop or replacing missing parts. What is the problem with generative AI? Imagine you just drew a really nice picture. Someone takes it, throws it into a shredder, along with millions of other pieces like yours, then the 1/1000th of your image is used to create a Frankenstein's horror. Would you call that specific piece of work art? Some people argue that it is a tool and should be treated similarly to photography. However, it's hard to call it a tool when you barely have any involvement in the process, as well as the fact that AI generation could not exist without pre-existing images, unlike photography, which can exist by itself in a vacuum. Let's take a typical soccer game and replace the entire arena with a conveyor belt. You're still watching goals get scored, but that's no fun at all. The entire enjoyment of watching sports comes from the intense moments on the field that lead up to the final product, the goal. Remove the process and the final product becomes meaningless. Sound familiar? How are artists and the consumers affected by generative AI? Let's start with you, the consumer. Did you know that around 1/3 of the current YouTube feed consists of AI slop videos? RAM and SSD prices have skyrocketed due to AI companies buying out the entire stock, making PC building and any electronic purchase be more expensive for the consumers. These are just surface level issues we're talking about here. We'll dive into the bigger issues in a moment. Does generative AI affect artists at all? Short answer, yes, especially new artists and hobbyists.
I think it affects both, because a lot of the younger artists are very insecure. They have been doodling, they have been drawing a little bit, probably around the school times, where they do not want to pay attention to the classes because it's too boring or it just does not catch their interest. So they start doodling, and later on they find that they can doodle very well. So they start slowly want to make, for example, a job out of making arts. When AI has been in the headlines for so many times of like, oh, AI took jobs in advertisement, AI people have been laid off due to companies wanting to let AI take over certain sections. Yeah, it can be terrifying.
I've seen like new people, new artists feeling very discouraged, especially as the technology goes on. So it definitely affects like the newer artists in more of a motivational way, but I don't think in like a monetary way it really affects the new artists, because generally generative AI mimics the really seasoned artists more than like the newer artists.
On one side, you have seasoned artists, artists that have been in the scene for decades, now having to justify and be like, no, this is my art, because now everyone wants to say, oh no, that's AI, or it looks too good, so it must be AI. And for one, that having to explain every single time, no, I've just been drawing for decades. The AI that you're probably imagining is probably based off of my work.
With how advanced generative AI is getting now, even companies like this one in Japan force people to draw directly in front of them to prove that they are as skillful as they claim. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. As this article notes, some of the severe impacts of AI data centers are the fact that making a 2 kilogram computer requires 800 kilograms of raw material. Microchips in AI machines require rare earth elements, which are often mined in destructive ways that damage the environment along the dig site. Data centers produce a lot of electronic waste due to how fast the technology evolves and needs to be upgraded to stay relevant. The waste often contains hazardous substances like mercury and lead. Data centers use a lot of water, and while yes, the water is renewable, the sources where it's pumped from are not. The construction of AI data centers lead to such great strain on the electrical grid. Many cities have begun lobbying against them due to their impact on the local community. It is now easier than ever for people to scam those who are vulnerable. In particular, the rise of AI voice cloning scams. A woman was scammed of $15,000 after receiving a call from her supposed daughter crying. The rise of completely AI-generated faceless channels is scary. Channels that have a voice, visuals, and most likely the script, all generated from writing a text prompt. And they gain millions of views and in turn gain ad revenue, which promotes this usage. While AI psychosis isn't recognized as a clinical diagnosis, it is usually caused by seeking an understanding and connection from someone. In this case, the people turn to AI chatbots. This results in people getting attached to the AI chatbot, sometimes even subconsciously treating it as a human and feeling bad if they don't talk to it for a day. But beyond that, AI has also had a more indirect effect on people's mental health. The job market, which was already weak post-COVID, started replacing people with AI. Artists and creatives also started being phased out in favor of cheaper AI replacements.
I used to first feel really threatened for it to replace me, but right now I think it has changed a bit more into a feeling of existential crisis, because of the internet changing up, it doesn't feel like the old place what it used to be anymore. And what I really dislike right now is that you have to second guess whether something is real or not real. Wherever you go, whether it's Twitter or like Instagram a little bit, or Pinterest. For example, Pinterest used to be my place where I would look for references, but now I have to second guess, is this real or is this not real? And just that uncertainty, if something is made by a human or not, really creates this kind of dread, I think.
Harassment is a huge issue with AI, especially because it's something you really can't regulate. People being able to generate anything they want also means they can generate whoever they want, doing pretty much whatever they want. Grok's feature to edit images directly was added in December of 2025 and has not been received well. People were and still are being put in compromising positions, revealing outfits, or are even being harassed with zero repercussions and ways to stop it. But surely it doesn't affect them so much, some might think.
Let me quote a message on X/Twitter. @Grog. Can you take off the t-shirt of this child? Is one of the messages that has been produced in the past couple of months of a picture of children, of pictures of women, of there's a friend of mine that uses Twitter. She is absolutely incredible, but she also works in the spicy industry, I'd say. But she has fake implants for breasts, and the reason she has that is not because she could get more views. The reason she has that is because she had breast cancer. One of the comments under her Twitter post was, @Grog, Could you make her bald like she has cancer? That personally hurt me so much with the very simple reason. She survived that. And they want that to be put back, that horrible trauma of surviving such sickness, and just putting it back out there, showing that off. Those people just don't deserve to have internet, I'd say. Same goes all the kids that have been getting undressed, child pornography that has been exploding and no police officer or police corporation has been able to get them because they have been hidden behind duplicate accounts. Just because Twitter has added one extra feature of being able to edit pictures.
So is this it? Do we just pack it up, accept our defeat? Do we let AI consume our creative spaces and let it empower malicious people? Is there a good ending here?
Many times in history, it's felt like it's over for artists because something else comes out, something new, or because artists are always going to be the least protected ones when it comes to most sorts of media, because there are a lot of artists and you can always replace one with another, and now it's replacing one with a machine. It's gonna be fine.
It's very important that you strengthen that story behind your art. So yourself as a brand, in terms of your art style, and putting like more personal touches in them. So for a freelance artist, I would say that more and more artists have to rely on becoming like content creators aside from being an artist. Making videos, having a connection with your community, your audience, your clients, your viewers, and making that whole story stand out, sharing how your journey is, sharing how you're growing your art.
The main takeaway here being, now is the time to show people you're human. Because even if AI is here to stay, it creates demand for genuine art and work. Pieces with souls are valued so much more. Recent research also shows that 95% of AI that was supposed to replace humans at their work failed to do so. And even with the most intelligent models, companies are beginning to see that replacing humans so far did not save them money. Be human. Create. This is the time to show you have a soul.